Megan Thee Stallion is out for blood right now, and she's not stopping until she gets revenge on everyone. She's going after Akademiks, and even Akademiks employees or people around Akademiks, going after Aiden Ross, who is friends with Akademiks. She might be going after Drake next. So, in our last video on this situation, we covered how Akademiks did a subpoena. Now, during that subpoena, DJ Akademiks recorded everything and leaked it to the public. And we seen him asking Akademiks how he got certain information, why he's saying certain things about Megan Thee Stallion, why he believes Megan Thee Stallion is a liar. This time around, we thought that saga was over with, right? No. DJ Akademiks just announced that Megan Thee Stallion just did a legal maneuver where they're now demanding or requiring, because the judge already approved it, that Akademiks come and sit for a second deposition.
If y'all watch some of the clips I even posted about the deposition, the lawyer of Meg Thee Stallion decided to argue with me about my opinion, if I believe Meg, rather than even asking me questions. Nevertheless, they filed what's called a motion to compel, right? So there was a question that they asked me. They said, hey, Akademiks, you tweeted out at one point that break-in, Tory Lanez DNA was not found on the weapon. We want to know, how did you get that information? Now, that information, if it were valid, would be only known by three parties: the judge, prosecution in LA, and Tory Lanez's defense team. Now, remember I said if it was accurate. Now, everyone and their mama made it clear to say, hey, that's not accurate. Even Tory Lanez's lawyer said that. Which means when I tweeted it out, because I tweeted it before the day of the day in court even started, it was pointed out Akademiks didn't tweet out the right information.
Yeah, they're talking about this tweet right here. Now, this was tweeted out February of 2022. Tory Lanez didn't start trial until December, but there was a couple of hearings going on. Now, apparently, there was no media personnel in court. It was actually only Megan Thee Stallion's team, Tory Lanez's team, and the judge. So when Akademiks tweeted this out, breaking, it was revealed in court a few moments ago that Tory Lanez's DNA was not found on the weapon in the Megan Thee Stallion case. Well, Megan Thee Stallion and her team believes that Tory Lanez fed Akademiks this information. If you've been following this, though, you're probably asking, why is this important? She's not suing DJ Akademiks. DJ Akademiks isn't being sued by Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion is suing Milagro. Milagro is alleged to have received money from Tory Lanez in exchange to spread or to defame Megan Thee Stallion. That's what Megan Thee Stallion's argument is. So why is she bringing up Akademiks, Aiden Ross, Drake? Because she's trying to prove there's essentially a RICO conspiracy against her. She's trying to prove that the forces that be, rather it's Tory Lanez, it's Drake, rather it's Stake, that there is a cahoot. There is a group of people who have an invested interest to slander her, and they're being paid, which is why she keeps bringing up DJ Akademiks in court, Aiden Ross, Stake, right? Grand Wizard, is because of that. And but again, they're not being sued, so why is it important? Because if she could prove, yo, Tory Lanez fed Akademiks this information. Yo, Tory Lanez fed Aiden Ross this information. Yo, Akademiks, Aiden Ross, Grand Wizard, they're being paid to slander me. If she could prove that, then it makes her job a little easier to prove that Milagro received money from Tory Lanez in exchange to slander her. This is why this is important. But a lot of people, right, who are, I guess, familiar with the law, they've been saying, hold on, this is just not about this Milagro. It sounds like Megan Thee Stallion is using this Milagro stuff to get these depositions to then set up a legal trap to probably potentially sue Akademiks or sue Aiden Ross or sue Grand Wizard, okay? This is what the long-term play is.
Yet, Meg Thee Stallion's lawyers, a.k.a. Rock Nation lawyers, they are trying to say, I got the information from a credible source. Now, today in court, and I'll tell you exactly what happened in court. It's going to come out in the minutes anyway, right, or the transcript. So today in court, they were trying to say that in their conspiracy theory that Milagro defamed Meg, Milagro claimed she had the same source as me, and if they could force me to reveal the source of my tweet, they could prove the conspiracy, and they believe that source is Tory. So if I say Tory, they're going to now say, well, you said your source was him. Tory may have sent you money. Okay. They're going into cuckoo land. Now, let me tell you a few things that did happen in court, and I'll tell you what the order was in terms of the motion. The judge, number one, scolded the defense, or not defense, but the plaintiff, I guess the plaintiff's counsel, which is Quinn Emanuel's representative. I won't say her name, but scolded them because he went over the deposition. He was also confused why the hell they were asking me about everything else but the relevant things. He was very confused. He literally said, I read most of this stuff. You guys asked Akademiks a bunch of things that doesn't on face value, or maybe you could substantiate, has anything to do with Meg Thee Stallion or even the case you got in Florida. Okay? Okay, that's number one. Number two was the issue of the question they asked me. The question was, who gave you the information that you tweeted? Now, I got to be honest with y'all, chat, and I really want to be clear. I don't got Alzheimer's, but y'all do know this Don Julio. If to my memory.
Right now, Akademiks understands legally he don't want to give these people nothing at all, not even an inch. But if, let's say, there was no threat, there was no veiled threat of Akademiks potentially being sued, and this was just Akademiks just holding it down, I would tell Akademiks, don't hold it down. Because think about it, right? Like, an artist giving information to a publication or to bloggers, there's nothing wrong with that, per se. Megan Thee Stallion and Rock Nation, they feed the blogs too. Van Lathan said that like a Rock Nation personnel called TMZ to run a negative story on Colin Kaepernick. So artists feeding information to the media or paying the blogs to post certain things, that's normal. It becomes flagrant if the information is false. And I've seen Tory Lanez and I've seen other people say as of recent, that Tory Lanez DNA was not found on that gun. So if that's the case, then there's nothing wrong with Tory Lanez saying, yo, here's the report, my DNA was never found on the gun reported. It only becomes flagrant and foul if it's not true. And if I'm Akademiks, if Tory Lanez and his team fed me wrong information, bruh, we not homies then? Right? If you will feed me wrong information to manipulate me or manipulate my audience, then we not cool, right? Then you put me in harm's way. Nah, bro. Yo, he told me. He told me. So if the information is true, then come out and say, man, bro, yeah, Tory told me, but it's facts, right? If it's not true, action bomb on Tory for putting him in harm's way, right? Because what you're doing, if you my mans, you won't feed him to the dogs like that.
Now, during the deposition, as a matter of fact answer, I said, I'm unwilling to divulge it. As the combative lawyer got pissed off over time, because I could tell she was so heated. I'm just sitting there. As she got pissed off over time and tried to bring the issue back up, she asked me if I was trying to use at least what's called in New Jersey. There's a shield law for people who are journalists that would prevent legally them to be forced to give up sources to information they disseminate. Now, during the deposition, I actually even said, because I could tell this chick is fuming. It's 7 hours. And I'm over here tap dancing on them. I'm over here giving them the works. You feel me? Like, I'm not even going to lie to you, Meg. I don't know if you spend $100,000 on that, but I was giving all 7 of them the work. So eventually, when I realized they paused the deposition, they said, yo, we're going to go get a judge right now. We got to get you this answer out of you. I say, you know what? I'm not going to use the shield law anymore. As a matter of fact, I'll answer. My answer is, who gave me the information, I don't recall. And I don't. That's the reality of it. So today in federal court, and by the way, I didn't have to appear, but you know, I appeared for one reason, and the judge gave me some assurance. And by the way, shout out to Judge Brendan Day. Salute to my guy. Good magistrate out of New Jersey federal court. He said Meg's lawyers were trying to say that what we do here can't qualify as journalism. So laws that protect journalists can never apply to us. The judge basically, after questioning her and essentially Meg for a decent period of time, they then reduced their stance to say, no, that's not what we're saying or asking. We're not saying that academics cannot get protected by laws that protect journalists, especially, and I told the judge, because the judge asked me, and I stood up, I represent myself. He said, are you trying to enforce the shield law? I said, well, in the deposition, I said, I'm not even going to use the shield law. I'll give you an answer, which is I don't recall. But the reason why I'm even showing up here to even challenge this motion is because if she gets a blanket win on the shield law, it means for future cases where someone...
I stand corrected. I was wrong. If this is Akademiks' reasoning, he's 100% correct. Legal precedent is very important. We seen with this Diddy case. When they was about to determine whether Diddy was going to do 20 years in prison or 2 months, what they say? Go find legal precedents for Mann Act convictions similar to Diddy's, and we're going to factor that in at our sentencing, right? Now, the judge went completely left, as people would expect, but yeah, legal precedent is very important. So Ak is saying, yo, if Roc Nation and Megan Thee Stallion can do this, right? If they can violate the rights of journalists, if they can violate the rights of, like, again, constitutionally protect the rights for journalists, right, to receive information under confidentiality and not have to disclose it. If they can violate this, then then there's no hope for anybody else coming after me. So shout to Ak, man. Nah, that's noble, bro. Like, I rock with that, bro. Like that's noble. This next part is really concerning to me. So Akademiks will release a phone call between the private investigator that Megan Thee Stallion hired and one of his employees. Now, Akademiks hires a bunch of people, or not even hire, like he kind of partners with them to run the Akademiks TV because they run it. Ak just kind of oversees it because it's his brand. And Akademiks TV has a lot of people posting for it, including some of Akademiks fans who are minors. According to Akademiks, the private investigators hired by Megan Thee Stallion is contacting minors and trying to like talk to them or trying to gather information from them without like their parents being there or on the phone to kind of like mediate. Now, Akademiks would release a phone call between one of the people that works for Akademiks TV and a private investigator for Megan Thee Stallion. Now, Ak didn't reveal whether or not this person specifically they were talking to was a minor, but he did say minors were contacted at some point.
You have a right not to incriminate yourself. You know, you have a right to an attorney if you want to hang up and not...
And by the way, this is whack. You little $2 private investigators, don't try to read Miranda rights to my niggas, bro. Don't read, like, you can't arrest nothing. Meg, we gonna go to 1 million hearings and we gonna bleed your pockets dry. That's why I show up without a lawyer. You ain't got nothing against me. And if you do, we'll go at that route too. Y'all keep paying lawyers $1 million every 2 months for a bunch of bullshit to investigate. Some of these people y'all are calling are children. They're 16-year-old who this is their first job, which is might be to click a button. They don't know what's going on. Good job. Keep spending y'all attorney money. Keep having people stake out of, y'all are staking out of minors' houses because they like a particular artist and they might be endearing to the chat niggas. Keep doing that. But y'all are spending real hard. This is not cheap. This admitted they were on a flight over 12 hours to go get to this person. Keep doing that.
What Megan Thee Stallion and her lawyers are doing is sick. Like, that's sick, bruh. Why are you stalking people? Why are you going and waiting out of people's houses to have conversations with them when they aren't being sued? Now, I do disagree with Ack when he says, they're going to bleed their pockets. They're not. Rock Nation is a $1 billion company. This is not going to put a dent in their overall budget at all, bro. Like when Rock Nation was trying to get that casino pass, bro, they was pouring millions of dollars just for the sake of, bro, they was pouring millions of dollars just to get people to come on board with their plans to get this casino. Like they don't care about like the measly millions they're spending on this case. And I also don't even think this is entirely about Megan Thee Stallion. I think Rock Nation has a deeper point to prove here. If you've looked at the landscape of hip hop ever since this Drake and Kendrick beef, it's been split down the middle. Usually, you could tell what side of the aisle they're on, rather Drake or Kendrick, based on their values and their beliefs or who they like and dislike. And it's safe to say that the people who are skeptical of Rock Nation, the people who are anti-Rock Nation, the people who got distrust for Rock Nation, who has an invested interest in exposing Rock Nation, they're usually on the Drake side of the fence. Hip hop has been split up like Democrats and Republicans, bro. All right, everything is political now in hip hop, and it's been split right down the middle, Team Drake or Team Kendrick, which I think it shouldn't be like that. It's dumb. But Rock Nation, I believe, is hiding behind the veil of this Megan Thee Stallion lawsuit to essentially go after the people they believe are responsible for spreading propaganda about Rock Nation, or who they believe is responsible for attacking Rock Nation or Rock Nation personnels. Because right now, if like the fans find out an artist is Rock Nation, it's like a like for example, like Cardi B. Cardi B ain't Rock Nation, but she has some dealing with Rock Nation. When that was discovered, she got a train of hatred. There's an automatic distrust for Rock Nation, and they're trying to figure out where the source is coming from. And they probably blame Academics or Academics TV, and they're just going after people they believe is responsible. This is not all about Megan Thee Stallion, and I hope people really look at this and take this seriously. Rock Nation ain't stopping. They don't care about like Megan Thee Stallion or Tory Lanez. No, they're using this as a veil to go after creators they believe is responsible for the hatred they're receiving online. All right. Now, like that's all. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think, man. Also, if y'all enjoy this video and want to make videos like me and make money like me, bruh, all right, I made a lot of money this year off of YouTube. I have a step-by-step course in my description, including the equipment, how I make thumbnails, also growth strategies that you've probably never heard before on how to grow really quickly on YouTube, like fast as hell, is in my description. Also, all right, I have consultations available if you want to ask me questions or have me cater a plan just for you. I will also do that as well in terms of growing on YouTube. Or you can sign up to win the free consultation I offer every month to at least one of my subscribers. Is also in the description. If you enjoyed this video, click on this video right here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, or here on my screen to find out about the other drama I'm dealing with. Apparently, a Rolling 60 Crip is threatening to sue me for exposing his nasty secret. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.